Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Oztron and we are back in GearBlocks, and for today's episode we are going to finish up this front end and hopefully finish up the back end as well. My ultimate goal for today is to get this thing to be some type of full rolling chassis and see if we can get this thing to kind of drive around and steer. Maybe not drive, I don't know, I still have to make a transmission for this thing, but I think we need to get the suspension stuff figured out, and I did a bit of experimenting. That's why I have so many parts kind of laying around, is I've been trying to figure out, you know, the best layout and the best way I can kind of compact everything into a small package that is allowing me to do what I want it to do. And one of the things I was kind of struggling with is the ground clearance right here. So if I take one of these tires over here, this was the first suspension that I built in the last episode. It was something like this. And let's get that lined up right there. And if we look, it's really like just a one block of suspension clearance. And I really needed a little bit more because I was kind of testing some things around, and this is just when the car, you know, compresses down, it just hits everything. And then when we go over like little transitional places like this on the course or map or road or whatever, then if the suspension compresses just a little bit, it just crashes the car and just is not good. So I figured out an alternate way to give me the same suspension setup using the same pieces, but a little bit more compact and a little bit better ground clearance. So as you can see, there's really not a big difference between the two. The main difference is the spindle over here. So if we look at the previous setup, I have this ball joint that goes into this first block right there, and this block also above it has this little axle that's holding the tire on, and these two pieces right there, you can see, will collide. So if I take this tire away and I try to bring this down one block right there, then obviously it's red because it's actually running into this ball joint. See, so that's the dilemma that I was running into, and I needed to like really resolve that because I like this suspension setup and the way that everything's like placed and angled, but I needed to drop the axle down just a little bit, or you know, and over here I found this piece right here. And this was in the setup, so I'm going to copy it and see if I can select it and bring it out. So this is the same piece, or this is a custom piece that is in the build menu under, where is it at? Is it suspension pieces? Yeah, it's right here. It's this little steering arm. And I kind of wish that this, you know, we had the same piece with an angled section like this, just so that we can maybe inset it inside the tire a little more. Like optimally, we really want the center line of the ball joints, you know, which is actually kind of diagonal, so it's between here to that ball joint. That really should be in the middle of the tire or your wheel. That would be the optimal place so that your tire doesn't scrub when it turns, you know, and stuff like that. This game probably doesn't like factor in any of that stuff, but in real life that would be a issue when this tire is turning on the outside like that. So that's why you don't want to like ever extend your tires with like hub spacers and things like that on cars. That's really bad for the scrubbing effect, messes up handling, wears your tires down and all that. And so you really want the center of where your ball joint pivot angle is, which would be a diagonal. You want it to transition to the center of the tire. So it'd be best if this was like placed inside the wheel. So if you look at your car outside, that would be how that is modeled after. So you know, from the factory at least. But anyway, we got what we have in this game working, and we can't really inset the wheel. You know, ideally I'd want it something like this, but you know, we are working within the mechanics of the game, so that's fine. So yeah, so using this piece right here, I was able to lower the let's see, actually it goes that way. So I was able to lower the spindle down, or whatever, the drive axle or axle spindle, whatever. Words, I need words. But yeah, so the spindle axle piece, or whatever you want to call that, is now lowered down one block because we have this ball joint, you know, fixed to this piece here, and it's not like this where you have a piece inside that is colliding. So hopefully that makes sense. So let's get rid of that piece. I need to clean all this stuff up, so let's actually, yeah, leave that there. And I even like experiment with a different lower control arm setup, and so that's why I have all these pieces laying around. So let me like clean all this up real quick. All right, there we go. So cleaned most of the things that were just kind of miscellaneously laying around. I have lost like some cars. I like loaded in some cars, but if you leave them on the ground, they just roll off to somewhere. I got probably like 10 cars on this map just that have like are gone now, and every so often I'll find one way out there in the desert. Kind of weird, but yeah, so let's look at the suspension now. So we're going to copy this side and put it over here with the adjustments now, and if we unfreeze this, hopefully it doesn't fall to the ground. So let's unfreeze. There we go. So we have a dampener right here, so this would be our sway bar, and we actually have steering. I got the steering fixed also, so I'll go over what issues I ran into with that here in a minute. But definitely that was like, man, that took me probably a couple of hours to figure out. Went through like a million different designs, rebuilt the whole front end like a few times over just to get the steering to work. It was just baffling the heck out of me. So finally got that figured out, and I can show you guys what not to do there, because it's just a real simple thing, but you know, it's hard to see all that. But anyway, so let's look at this. So we have a shock on top, so I kind of have like a push rod setup, and I was experimenting with doing diagonal shocks, and I was running into some issues with that, but I think I got it figured out now. It's really a certain order method that you need to do in order to achieve diagonal shocks, but I'll cover that too here in a minute. And I might end up doing diagonal shocks where I have like a shock in the middle here going, you know, diagonally and like inboard. So we'll see if I can get to that, but this basically achieves the same thing. So we have a pivot arm right here going from the bottom suspension up to the top and then straight over. So if I grab this tire, and we can see how that compresses the shock as it goes up and down, and obviously we can increase the dampening power of the shock and all that. But right now I'm just going to leave it default until we get the rest of the suspension figured out. And I have this all the way turned down. If we turn this up, you know, where it was and do all that, it actually brings it back up, and it's, you know, it's a little bit more dampened. You know, you can kind of see how that works, but I don't know. So we'll have to play around with these things and all that. So this is it is hooked up, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, so that is our sway bar. So this would be our sway bar, and this is a dampening spring to allow us to adjust the amount of sway. So it's basically like a torsion bar, I guess, more specifically, and so this torsions this arm right here. So as it goes up, it will torsion, and it'll also affect this side, but we won't see that until we get both sides connected. And then as you can see, this shock is now going that way. So I'm just using a small shock. It's almost about to pop out though, so it's just right at its max travel basically. And then if we look over here, we have I need to be able to get in there, but we have the motor for the drive for the steering, so you can see how that works. And then when I go into the build mode, I'll show you guys more on that. I need to finish building out the upper part of the suspension and everything also, but I need to do that after I switch this side over there. Then in the back, we kind of have a little bit of a different setup. So this is what I started building the first time around, based off of some other car, like that car over there, and it has the words again, diagonal shock mount. And I was like, man, I need to figure out how to do that. And so there's this process called the node skip that allows you to do that. And there's a few settings that you need to, you know, do, and a script that helps with that. And I have an example of here, so we'll look at that here in a second. But yeah, so let's go back into the build mode now, and let's check this out and look at the steering, because this is really, really important. over here we have this little rack piece, and if you notice, it has like a little green arrow, and that's showing you where it's connecting to the gear. That tells you that it's connecting to this gear here. This gear has a down arrow showing that it's connecting to this piece. This piece is showing it's connecting to that. And then we have the actual rack piece. And the deal with this is that we have this beam right here, and this beam continued straight all the way out, and this on this side it did too. And if you have it do that, then what happens, like if I take this piece and I move it, let's just move it out of the way right there, and let me just do this as an example. Let's take this piece here, and let's see, maybe I can just extend it like this. Let's extend it forward, see if that works, like right there. And then let's take this one and extend it forward too, right there. Okay, so if you notice, we have these connection points right here, these little X's, and you want those to be the sliding points, right? But previously our slider was in the middle, right underneath this arrow, and it was going side to side. So if you hit E, it changes it, right? And it's red, because this side's locked, right? So I was like, okay, well that makes sense. We can't move this sliding, we can't move the rack side to side because this side's locked. So if you hit E again, it unlocks it, and now we have two blue, sides that is telling us that this is a-okay and it should slide side to side. But that's not the case. And what happens, I don't really know. It's like these interfere with each other because it's on two different surfaces. So if we go back and undo, and I basically go back until that piece pops back in, yeah, right here. So let's, yeah, there we go. And now we look at this piece and I select it. Let's undo a couple more times. I guess it doesn't matter. We can just hit it there. And what in the world? There we go. Okay, so now you see how we have the same arrow after I unlocked it, and basically I have a beam underneath that's the same length as this piece. So this rack piece needs to be on one solid continuous beam where it only has one arrow in the middle. Now, some of you guys mentioned this in the comment section, which I greatly appreciate. I had already figured it out after like several hours of trying to figure this stuff out, and then you guys laid all the comments down and I was like, dang it. But yeah, so that is the deal with that. I'm not sure why it's like that. Maybe the devs can fix that, or I don't know if there's a legit reason when it has two arrows it doesn't work rather than one. But now if we go back and we unfree, oh geez, we need to make sure our blocks are connected, and then we should be able to unfreeze it now. What the heck? What is going on? What am I doing? So why is it not connecting there? It should stay connected, right? So unfreeze. Why on earth is it doing that? Let's do this. All right, now unfreeze. What the biscuit? I don't understand why it does that. All right, we're just gonna back up. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so all right, so now you can see that it now functions the way it's supposed to. And if I freeze it back and we select it, we can actually see, get out of the yellow. I don't know, why is it red? You can actually see that, like I was saying, it has that one single arrow. So as long as it has one arrow and all your pieces are attached, I don't know why the front end kept falling off. It said it was attached, but anyway, that's kind of weird when it does that. So yeah, so that's kind of the thing that we need to look out for when dealing with some of these sliding pieces and all that. So hopefully that makes sense, and I'm explaining that okay. But now, like when we unfreeze it, then like I said, we have our steering and it functions good now. All right, so now on to the next thing that I'd like to cover. So one of the other things you guys were telling me about is I was trying to figure out, like on the engine, basically how to make it rev higher. And so you guys are saying I can actually select the cylinders over here, and let's select the cylinder, and will it allow me to change? Oh, it's locking it for some reason. I'm trying to like go into the... Do we have to be in a different setting thing? Is it because it's locked? Oh, there we go. What is that? Okay, there we go. So that's weird. All right, so yeah, so we can change this, right? I thought it maxed, it was 4,000, but if you just, right click on it, it highlights and we can just type in a number. So we can make it go to 8,000. And I think we can do that with all of them now. And so let me do that, and then we'll start 800. We'll start the engine up and see just exactly what difference this makes. Okay, so I got the all the heads set to 8,000 RPMs. I think that's the only thing I need to do. So let's unfreeze this thing and see if we can get into our little driver's seat here, start it up, and see what kind of RPMs we can get on this. All right, so we are idling about 700-800 RPMs, and let's see. Oh, I think we hit 9. What the heck? Weird. I might have a weird issue going on. I added a weight. I changed this to lead, and that was another thing I noticed, is that I was running tungsten. Let's go ahead and change that to tungsten and see if that makes a difference. Oh, did I just blow my engine? Can you do that in this game? Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me double check, make sure everything's connected. So some of the times when we go into this mode here, yeah, sometimes I lose connections with the crankshafts. So it looks like we're all connected here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think, let me double check my firing order here. So we need to see, I really wish it showed us what the firing order was on the screen over to the right. There might be a script for this. Let me look. Let's see. We have scripts here that have like attachment, inspection, engine tool. What does this do? Target on heads port, use this tool, adjust. Why don't we load that up, and then what does this one do? Attachment, inspect, and builder tool, construction debug, joystick, kit building tool. What does that do? Construction ID, select parts. Not really sure what some of these things do, but let's just load that up. Let's get out of there and go back to continue. Hopefully, I leave these up and we select over. It's not really showing us anything. Set increments 1, 2, 3. Entire. Oh, wait a second. All right, let's get rid of this. That's not telling us. Oh wow. Okay, we have like some things. Actual firing orders placed in here for a 12 cylinder. We need like a 10. Can I set this? Can we make this like our own setting? I wonder. You guys let me know if there's a way to customize this. It'd be nice if I could actually just select the firing order that I want and just experiment with, because I have a whole list of firing orders that we can actually go through. But it looks like the firing order, if I go to, that's supposed to be 6, so that's correct. And then let's just double check a few. That's 10. That would be correct. So yeah, that is, it looks like the last one would be, should be 6. Is that 2? Yeah, 2. All right. And so that looks great. I'm not sure why it's acting weird. Is it running into something? Not really sure. That is strange. Let's check the throttle bodies too. Let's see. I don't I didn't make any changes to the throttle bodies, so I don't know. Now I did load, let's see, I did do this. All right, and this was something I did to make these suspension pieces work. So there's a script. If we go back to here to the script mods, we do the builder tool, load this in. So we have this little builder tool over here, and if we look, I go here, it basically we wanted to enable the attachment bridging, and that's supposed to make the suspension things work. I don't know, it seems like there's a few different ways to do it, so I'm going to try it without having that enabled. Then also when you right click, and let's go to this, when you right click, you're supposed to uncheck the select locked neighboring parts. So I'm going to go ahead and it's default selected, so I'm going to leave that as is. Maybe that's messing with my engine stuff, but let's go ahead and get in here. Let's start our motor. Okay, it's at a different RPM now, so maybe that's good, because I was at 777 a minute ago. Okay, it is going up higher. Oh, I broke again. That is weird. All right, so let's change this back to lead. Make that lead. And yeah, it's like spinning. How funny. So if I get back into the chair, can we start it? Okay. Oh man, it does not sound good at all. Oh, I see. Now it's back at 777 because I had it with the lead little flywheel back here. So why is it doing that? Why is it skipping? Oh, it's weird. That is odd. Well, we're gonna have to figure out the engine issue somehow, and see if there's something happening. You know, maybe I have a piece that's not right with my crank. This is the problem sometimes. I have everything locked on the engine, so nothing should have changed. And yeah, everything looks like it's at the right angle. All the crankshafts are at 72 degrees offset. So that is weird. So that should be correct. Now there's a couple of different ways on the 10-cylinder engines, like the old 1992 or 96 Viper. They had a 90-degree cross plane crank, and it was basically all the cylinders were 90 degrees offset except for the two center ones, and they actually there's two cylinders that were both on the same I guess 90-degree angle at top dead center, and so it would make for a super choppy and kind of interesting sounding engine, because you had two pistons firing down at the exact same time in the middle of the motor. But it added issues with the strength of the crank, so they changed it to this different 72-degree thing, I believe. So that's been the standard ever since on 10 cylinders. So okay, well, let's go ahead and copy and let me copy this front end over here to this side, and we'll deal with whatever's going on with the engine, and I'll have to figure that out. There's so many weird little tweaks and things that we're going to have to figure out. But let me go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll see about moving to the back suspension. Okay, guys, now I have the whatever, the driver's side or the left side, right side, whatever you want to call it. I guess that's going to be the driver's side, and then this will be the passenger side. So that's how I'll refer to these. But so now the driver's side is done and it's copied over. So we have both suspension pieces right there, and we have our little torsion sway bar set up. And if we unfreeze it, we can see it drop down a little bit, and then we grab our little grippy tool here, and we can pull up on the suspension, and we can, let it See how if we pull up on it, it kind of should affect the other side. It might be hard to see that. Might need to adjust. Is that actually, let's see, do we have this? Let's see, well, what do we have? That should not be a rotate piece. Yeah, that should be solid. Make sure that these need to be connected solid because we want it to rotate through this block, but then needs to be solid connect there. And that you can't change. That's a rotate, and that solidly connects. And then this one rotates, and then we have a solid connection here, and then down here, and then also, and this bar there, and then this bar right there. So all of these should be solid connect, solid, solid, solid. Okay, so we're good there. And if we turn up the torsion, oh, not like that. Let's do this. Let's unfreeze it like that, and then we should be able to go in and turn up the dampening and see what will happen here. Oops, I didn't mean to move it. Go to the move tool. So it's not affecting the other side like I was hoping. So, or if it is, it's really hard to tell. Doesn't seem to be dampening. Like I should drop it and it should allow it to come down slowly. But for some reason, it is not doing that now. So I'm not really sure why. Yeah, it shouldn't be affecting. Maybe it is. It's really hard to tell because the screen is weird. But we could just do this and take, instead of moving that, let's select this. All right, what are you doing? There we go. And let's just disconnect. Oh, no. Yeah, let's disconnect the shocks for a second. And then now unfreeze it. Huh. Why is it? Oh, wait a second. What the heck? Why is it doing that? Oh, it's not connected right. Wait a second. Is that the way? Yeah, that's pointed down. And that's down. Okay. That is like the right way. Let's grab our tool here. Oh, okay. It is working. Okay. So if I pull that up, see, it's pulling the other side up just like a torsion bar would. It would, because that's what it does, is it, you know, whatever happens to this tire kind of translates over to this tire a little bit, so that some of the energy is sent over here to help with the stability and, you know, anti-roll of the vehicle and all that. So we have our steering. So we have our steering like that. I have these bound to separate keys than my normal A and D key. It's those two. But so that is working. Okay. So weird. All right. But weird that it's like the dampening effect is just dropping because I have that turned up really high. Let's just max out the dampening. Oh my. Wait, is it backwards? That is different. So maybe less dampening? Oh, nope. How weird is that? Why is it not doing the dampening effect? So that is odd. It is connected. Okay, well, I'll have to figure that out because it was working before the correct way. And I mean, that's connected, and that there's no way to change that. I can lock it. I can't change that. So weird. All right. And I don't know if you guys see an issue here. Like this is all done right, you know, and this is done right. How weird is that? This was working before. Maybe let's just take it out. I'm going to bring in another one. Where's that at? Under suspension. Bring in this piece here. Maybe I can rotate like let's put it the other way. Not really sure. Like if I take off that, it doesn't actually tell me which side is which here. So let's put it in. Okay, so now that side's rotating. That side's locked. That block allows it to rotate. This one allows it to rock. So now if we drop it, oh, dang it, and drop it, switch, I gotta switch to other tool. That's so strange. Yeah, spring rate, I'm just gonna set all these to high. Yeah, that is weird. I mean, you know, maybe because I bet, aha, I know why. It's because it's not on the ground. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. So if we go into our build mode here, like this, and if I lock this block right there, oh, not like that. Let's lock it right there. Okay. So then I'm going to unfreeze it. Okay. Now, see, it doesn't move at this moment. But if I go into here and I change this back to, let's just put that 25, and then I put the dampening way down. All right. And let's do the grab tool. See it's different now. All right. So now we have little spring rate. See how it just pops up because of our spring rate's real high. And I mean, not little spring rate. I mean, we have less dampening and high spring rate. So if I change this and I give us, you know, hardly any spring rate, let's just turn to 0 and then put our dampening up to this. You'll see it. See how it's falling slowly now? Because now it's slowly affecting the dampening. See that? So now that's exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, but because it wasn't on the ground, it was just rotating. All right, I see. I could put a spring. We have these other ones. So if we go into here, go back to the build tool. All right, and then back to our library, we have these. So I could put these on this block right there and this on this block and actually have different dampening for each side of the car. But generally you want them to connect and translate some of the energy over to the other tire. So I think the way that I had it is best. So we'll just unfreeze that. We'll change, not lock it. Stop locking it. Yeah, go to the settings. Let's put this back up to 25 as a starting point. And then same thing with our shocks. So we can do the same with these. So there we go. So that's working. Everything's working the way it should be. So we can click these back into place. All right. Just took a bit to figure out. Sometimes, you know, it's just right in front of our face. All right. So now it's functioning just the way it's supposed to. All right. So yeah, I can actually see it affecting that other side just a little bit. I thought I saw it, but it was really hard to tell. Okay, so now the front end is done. We have steering. Let's get rid of it. What the heck? Let's get rid of that piece there. What the? Why? Where are you going, buddy? Excuse me. Yo. Hello. What the heck? Where are you going, dude? What? Get over here. What in the world? Come on. There we go. What just happened? I was just trying to delete it. Okay, so you stay. Yo, come back. I see. We had the grip tool on. Get over here. Stop. Delete. There you go. Okay. All right. So now we need to move to the back suspension, and let's take a look at the back suspension for a second. And as you can see, we have this shock going on right here. This, you know, dampening shock, and if we unfreeze it, we can see that it snaps over to this pivot point, so we actually have it at a diagonal. And I need to put in a differential too, so we have quite a bit to do back here, and I haven't really messed around with differential setups yet, so we'll have to probably use that vehicle over there or a different one. I have a couple of rear ends over here that we can use. So yeah, so we need to figure this out. So I did figure this part out. So let's take a look at the dampening shock, and let me show you guys how I kind of figured this thing out. So we have a tire. Let's take this tire. This goes to the back over here. So I'm going to snap that on. Just thought I was going to snap it on. Yo, snap on. Why is it not snapping? Okay. Well, that's weird. Hello? Okay, I'm not really sure what's going on with that tire, but yeah, all right. So over here we have a shock, right? And I have it set up real similar to how it is over there on this little piece that we have pinned. And if you guys want to know where these are, like it took me a while to figure out these little pins, but basically if you don't have this pin in and you take it out and then you unfreeze it, it just falls to the ground like that. But if you put it back up and you put the pin in it like this, then when you unfreeze it, it just stays where it's at. So if we unfreeze, you can see that the shock is right there. And then once, so this is frozen. Then when we unfreeze it, we can see that the shock now goes into its diagonal position, right? And if we want to change this, then we can go into edit mode here. And what you do, if I can remember the steps, we can kind of see that it has this little arrow, right, that says it's attached to this piece right there. And I usually kind of lock this piece in because it's you end up grabbing it by accident, so I try to lock in the mounting pieces. But let's say we want the shock to mount over here, which is not at an as of an extreme angle as this one. This one's almost 45 degrees, and this one's like 30 degrees or something. So if we want it to go over there, then what we need to do is just take this piece, plop it in right there. And now we have this piece over there bound to this mounting point, and then we have the bottom piece mounted to this piece here. You can lock it if you want. If not, then, you don't have to. And then what you do is you grab this piece and you hold your left mouse button down and to select it, and you keep holding it. You don't let go. And you snap it in and you adjust whether you want it up high or low or whatever. So let's just say right here. And then while still pressing your mouse button, you haven't let up yet, you hit Control Z and then you hit Control Z again. And now we have the little transitional arrows that show that it's attached to that piece over there, but we're not done yet. And the reason we're not done is if we look at the shock, the springs are not there. And it's very important to have the spring show up to show that it is a complete shock assembly. So you have to select the lower bottom piece here, whichever one you move, that's opposite of the one that you moved. You have to select it until it shows up with the shock piece like that. I think we did it. Let's see. Let's test it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you select that piece, and then you select off. And then that will make the springs appear. And once they appear, after you've done that little step-by-step process, then you'll have it, locked over here. And so this is called like a node skip. And originally, you had to go and load in the script piece here and put this builder tool, load this up. And once you had this builder tool, you would enable the attachment bridging, which allowed this to be done. And then you'd come over here and you would also have to, right click your mouse button and uncheck this box. But I think the devs did a change and made it to where you don't have to do that anymore. So basically, just once you're in build mode, you just have to separate the pieces. Well, they're locked, so I have to unlock it so I can move it. And then once you move it, so say I want to go back over to this piece right there, right? And if I unfreeze it, see, it's just, that's how it looks. And if I move this piece, go back to build mode, and I just, dang it, let's select it, and I put it back onto the shock. See, we have the spring, but if I come out, it just does that. It's not connected or bound, and it'll fall over. So you go back into build mode, and you separate the two pieces. So select, come on. Select, sometimes, there we go. There we go. So I wish there was like a deselect from all button or something, middle mouse button or whatever. I don't know. So I'm trying to still get used to all the controls. A lot of it is like selecting things and then clicking over here, selecting and clicking over here. I'd rather have a button, like my middle mouse button, so I don't have to always click over to the side, because a lot of times I'll click over and then I'll select this by accident or something, and I'm not deselecting everything like I want. So it'd be nice to have a button we can bind to. Okay, so again, let's do it one more time, because this really took me forever to figure out. I watched like a million videos that are like a year old and 20 updates ago. and then the same thing in the discussion forums and stuff like that were not really super specific. They're just like, just use no skip. Like, I'm supposed to know what that is. It's not anywhere in the game. So it's apparently something else. But and everybody calls it like non-skipping, no skipping, node skipping, node skip. So it's called a bunch of names, but I think the official thing is node skip, because you're skipping a attachment node. So again, we grab this piece, we don't let go on our left mouse button, we attach it and adjust whether we want it high or low into the shock position. So this works on both the tall shocks, short, stiff, heavy shocks, whatever they're called, strong shocks, all of them. So then while holding the mouse button, we hit Control Z basically twice until we have that right there, and we have the little arrow showing that this top piece is connected to that piece there, but we're not done. So before you start clicking around, you have to come over here and click on the bottom base and until you get that. And so you have this little arrow showing up and down. Once that shows up, you click off, and we have the spring now showing. And then once we back up and unfreeze everything, look at that. Now it works. So that's how you do the node skip angled shock, and you can do whatever angle you want. It does have a limit. If you go past like basically 45 degrees with these type of cup ends, then the shock will like kind of pop out and like spring out. It's kind of weird. So if you're going to go at a more aggressive angle, you probably want to use these shocks right here that have this type of end on them, you know, and that way you can pivot it just about any way you want. It just won't have side to side like the ball sockets do. So just keep that in mind if you're going to do that. So anyway, so that's a quick little tutorial on that and what I figured out. And we have the front end figured out. So now we need to do the back end, and I need to figure out why this tire will not attach. Why are we not attaching to this thing right here? It's very weird. Okay. Oh, there it goes. All right. Oh, what the heck? Okay, so that is attached. If we unfreeze, we have all of this set up, and this is basically the exact same torsion bar setup that's in the front. So I just have the same, you know, setup right here. It's just a little bit smaller, a little bit more compressed. It's a little taller over here because we have the differential little pumpkin thing that we have to assemble in the back. And so I needed some space to go over that. But yeah, so we're going to basically copy this side over there. So you guys give me a few minutes and I'll do that real quick. All right, guys. So I have the other side copied now. So now we have the passenger side set up and the same kind of thing. So let me go to the materials real quick. Let's collect our carbon fiber. I want to color all this now. And let's do carbon fiber for that. And let's see. I think I did carbon fiber for, well, let's see. Do carbon fiber for spindle pieces. Let's do, can't color those. So, okay, I guess we'll just do everything carbon fiber back here. There we go. And you know what? I'll make that, yeah, no, it's all right. I'll keep that carbon fiber and make that carbon fiber, that carbon fiber, that carbon fiber. There we go. Just because I like the carbon fiber look. Nice. All right, and I'm probably going to widen this out a little bit too. Like, it's not going to be this narrow. This is like a single seater, so we'll make it a little wider. You know, and I'll probably reroute the exhaust a little differently. But anyway, so all right, so now we have the back end down, and if we unfreeze this, we can see that it's doing everything. These are going to be the drive shafts right there. So we have our little CV joints for our drive shaft, and if we go to our grab tool, we can see here, see how that works now? So we're compressing the spring in the back, and also the torsion bar is now functioning the way that I thought it would function earlier, which I don't know why it doesn't do that over here. Let's see. Yeah, see, it acts different even though it's the same setup. Maybe because it's just a shorter arm or something. Maybe that's why. I don't know why that'd make a difference. It's really the same. It's the same setup. So kind of weird. Oh, the dampening is way down over here, and the spring rate's real high. So maybe that's why. Let's do the same thing. Spring rate, dampening down, and then, oh yeah, there you go. That's doing it now. So, all right, but that's not what we want. We want it to have some dampening, right? I mean, a little bit. Well, maybe we'll do that 0, and we'll use our shocks for the dampening factor. So I think we can do both. So anyway, so there we go. We have that set up. Now, if we come over here and we pull the pin out, let's pull the pin out, stick that there, unfreeze it. Bam, look at that. So that's a nice little thump. Looks pretty good. Let's go back to walking mode here. And it sits, might actually sit a little higher in the front for some reason. That could be due to how the shocks are set. So, or even the spring rate of this. I bet if we lowered this down to like that, will that, no? Maybe, why do these things in all these games, like, I don't know if it's like Unreal Engine or what. I don't know what the engine is on this game, but it seems to be like an Unreal Engine thing. But man, there is no such thing as a flat surface on any game that I've come across. So when there's a vehicle, that thing will always roll somewhere, and it's annoying. So we need some kind of resistance on the wheels so they don't roll. All right, let's take the spring rates down to like 15. There we go. So that worked a little bit as far as bringing it down. So yeah, so now we have the front end lowered a little bit via the spring adjustment. It's probably due to just how these are. I'll probably mimic the same system here. I'm probably going to experiment with a different cantilever setup, you know, although this one's pretty compact, and I might stick with this for a bit. We'll just have to see. So you go back that way, roll over there, and now we need a motor. So let's throw in let's just chunk in a differential real quick. That can't be too hard, can it? Famous last words, basically. All right, so let's take this, pop this up in the air like that. Where's that little pin now that the car is rolled around? Where the heck? Where's the car? There it is. So give me the pin. Let's put a pin in it. There we go. And yeah, and we're good. So we should now, there we go. Should now not fall out of the sky. Still need to finish out the front end over here and make some adjustments to this area. I'm going to copy this piece here. So let's copy that, plug that in right there. And because I think I'm going to copy these little bars up here and maybe do something like that right there, and probably can shorten this bar up quite a bit too. So if we click on Y and select this bar, should be able to shorten it if we can select it somehow. How do we select that, man? Well, maybe that's okay the way it is. I'm not going to worry about it. All right. Now I do want to adjust this, bring this back like that, you know, and yeah, that seems about right. Then we'll deselect, copy that piece. Oops. Copy. Is that another? And bring this over here. And let's rotate this. Oops. What the heck? I'm trying to rotate it. All right. And we're going to plop that right there. All right, cool. Okay. So it's given us a little bit. I may actually want to bring this, come on, and select that, let's bring it in right. Yeah, we'll just copy it to there, I think. And same thing with this one. Bring it in one right there. Okay. And let's do a T. We're gonna copy that piece, bring it out, and then we can just shift and hit the WASD keys. I do know we can do that. I just don't use it that much. And we're gonna bring this down. And where is it? Little cube at. Pop that right there. Snap that up right there. And that should attach. And then we're just gonna copy. Oops, wrong copy. Copy that piece. Okay, and we're gonna stick it over here just to connect. Oh my gosh, those pieces. All right, so now this area is connected and just makes me feel better. Wasn't necessarily a necessity, but yeah. Okay, so there we go. And I'm probably going to lengthen this, add some length to it a little bit too. Not much, but just a little bit, maybe 2 to 3 blocks longer, and probably 2 blocks on each side wider. So, and then I'm going to try to make a body for this thing somehow. Okay, so now we need to make a pumpkin, which is a rear end or differential, and we have some options for that. So if we look inside our gears, we have differentials here. So we have differential crown gear. And what are the differences? Okay, so that has that kind of gear. Is that what we want? Or do we want this kind of gear? I think we want this kind of gear, because our pinion is going to want to drive sideways off of that. This would be would need a gear on top or in front in order to drive it, but we want an input shaft to come in as our pinion gear. So we're going to want something in as far as that goes. Okay, so let's delete this one, and let's see. How are we going to do this? Let's go ahead and rotate it. So probably rotate like that, and we'll rotate it in. Not really sure which direction this needs to be. And then we need to add our pinion gears. So I kind of want to see what they're going to look like. So let's just hold it like that. And there we go. All right. I don't think there's any place we can attach this to, right? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So now it's all aligned to our car. This thing, what are you doing, man? Can we put you over there? And now we need to add our spider gears. Now, normally we have 4, but I think we only can put 3 in this. So these are the, I guess, spider gears or beveled gears. We have high, high, low. I want low. So we probably need this little guy. I don't think, let's load in this one, and then let's see. Will this fit in there? Oh my gosh, it does fit. Like, that's pretty, we need it small. So let's take that out. And let's put this guy, start with this one first. And I guess we need some type of axle. I did not finish the tutorial on doing doing these rear end differentials. So let me go. I want to go look. We have another car over here. This one? No. This guy right here. Let's look at what this thing has. Oh my gosh, I can't see nothing. All right. Give me a second. So I disassembled this thing. This car is crazy. I have no idea. We got 3 different differentials, maybe 4. 1, 2, 3. A drive shaft. This thing's all-wheel drive, apparently. And then it has like a belt drive right here. No, right there. going to the back. It's got another belt drive over here. They go to the back and they drive these gears, which then drives an actual CV joint here, and then another CV, and then out to an axle, I guess, for the back tire. So that's a crazy setup. I think we're going to go simple on that, but I think we have the right setup. So we're going with this. This looks like we have the smaller gears for here, and then we need that as our, I guess that's our pinion gear. It's not normally what a pinion gear looks like. These would normally be angled like these are, so it's kind of weird that they're not, but I guess for simplicity this makes sense. So we need 2 drive axles. So probably, because I have the CV joints over here, like where are my CV joints? They're right down here. So they're right there. They're in, this bar is in the way. So we're gonna have to adjust how that how that bar is going to be, because that's in the way. All right, so well, let's first get our thing and put it in. Here we go. Okay, so we need some drive shafts, or actually I think we just need the CV joints, right? So let's look for those. This is probably it. Now, which ones do we have underneath? I don't think it matters. So we have those. So we need the coupler version right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and rotate this. Pop that in. We'll just do it, I guess, like that. Copy. Plop it in right there. Copy that. And then we need to copy this gear. And one more time. Okay, because I don't think those are going to be, I think it needs to go in right there. And then in a little right there. And we got to flip this one. And flip this one. And select it, put it there. Okay. Is that right? That doesn't look right. I mean, that would normally be how that works, but those don't seem to be connecting. Let's go look at this thing again. Oh, I think he's got bigger versions in there. So we have bigger gears. Shoot. All right, give me a second. Let me swap these out. Finally got it figured out. All right, so apparently there are different gears that are very similar. Okay, so we have, just to kind of explain a little bit, we have this gear, which is different. If I just copy that and put it right there, then the 2 side gears. So 2 side gears actually have a different lip on it. So if we put those like this, we can see that there is a difference to these. So let's just rotate it like that. So these are the ones that mesh. So this one right here has to go on that center peg right there, and then these will actually go on the axles. So apparently in our settings here, we have, these are the axle gears right here, and these are the differential drive gear, I guess. I'm not really sure what to call that. They're just all called bevel gear, high and low, but that's just weird naming, I guess. And yeah, all right, so that finally got sorted out, and you can see now that there's little arrows that show where they're connecting. So we have these as rotating. The gears are locked, so they are locked to the axle. And then this right here, which I would assume is just automatically, yeah, it's rotating as well. And then these, if I select those, yeah, they're locked because they're attached to this inside this cage. So now we can actually take this whole assembly. After all of that, that was another, took a bit of running back and forth to try to figure out exactly what the heck we're supposed to do with all of this. So now we can stick these in, and we can probably resize these things down to just be real short for now, so that we can place this into the center of our vehicle. Probably needs to be offset a little bit. I'm not really sure. I don't think we have enough room to make this four-wheel drive. It's just going to be a rear-wheel drive vehicle. And I'm going to need to make some adjustments to this right here. So we're going to have to copy this for a second. All right, guys. So I have this sorted out, kind of. And I have a little wheel or like axle arch right here. So we have some way to shoot the axle through. I could actually do this. Now that I think about it, let's shorten this one up. Let's hit Y, shorten U up one block, just so that we have a little extra room to see what the heck we're doing. Shorten U up one block. That should hold us in. So yeah, we need to connect to this thing right there. So let's grab this thing and let's get off that, select that. Now, if you hold down Control and you hit the arrow key, you can actually select and deselect a bunch of items. So that makes it easy to move a whole assembly, which is nice. So now we need to stick this in to that piece there, but we need to extend these out a little bit. So let's click on Y and deselect. And let's see if we can, yeah, extend that out. Probably, let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, let's try it from there. Let's select all of this, drag this in, see if we can get it to connect. We're going to connect there. Doesn't look like it. Maybe we need to select it here. You need to snap on to there. There we go. All right, so that looks like that is right in the middle. So I think we're doing pretty good right there. So now I can deselect. We can click on this axle here and connect it to that drive shaft there. So there we go. Cool. All right. So I think that's good, man. We have something now. I don't know if this thing's going to rotate. Do we have to attach stuff to this? Like if I let's copy this, and oh no, you get back there. Let's grab this piece so it nothing snaps on and locks the differential, right? It's just going to rotate. Yeah. So I guess it's just automatic, maybe. I don't know. There's no housing for this that I know of, which, you know, in general, we would have some type of housing, but maybe this just defaults. I mean, it's supposed to rotate though, so I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work because I can't. Oh, where did this car over here? I can't tell by looking at this crazy. There's just too much going on over here. This one's sideways. I don't see any other type of thing besides it just kind of just floating there. I mean, it's connected here. Oh, you know what we probably do? I bet it's gonna sag. Where is it at? Because we actually do need to have it go through that. I don't know why I was thinking we needed to clear that, but I think we're actually going to have to use that. So if I deselect it, yeah, it's just sagging. Okay, that answers that. What happened? Why did it pop over to there? Oh god dang, what the heck? All right, let's just do this. We're gonna backspace this out to where it's down over there, and I'm just going to take this piece right there, and we're just going to drag that through. Yeah, and same thing right here, drag that to there. Okay, so that shaft is right over there, and this one, and that one's that one. So what happened to my rear end? Why did it, what in the heck happened? Let me escape or undo. Something changed here. All right, I'm not really sure what happened to my whole assembly back here. Just decided to, oh, now it's back together. How weird is that, guys? That's some weirdness going on. Okay. Okay, give me a second. Let me fix this real quick. Okay, wow, that was a mess. Apparently, for whatever reason, when I stuck the differential inside, and for whatever reason, when I unfroze it, it just basically exploded, and all the parts just kind of went all over the place. So I had to rebuild one of the sides, and man, it was a mess. So some parts were just completely missing, but everything was broken. All the shocks were messed up again and all that. So finally I got everything in place, locked in place. We're fully connected, and it seems to be functioning good now. So if I unfreeze it, we are back in business, and we can now have our suspension acting the way it's supposed to. We have our little differential now in place. So now we just need a drive gear for our little pinion gear in the front, and some type of way to get the power from the engine back there with some type of transmission. So I'm gonna have to figure that out next. So that'll be in the upcoming episodes. But let's go ahead and unfreeze this again. We'll pull the pin out. Let's take the pin here, and let's just stick that over there. Let's unfreeze it. And man, I don't like when I unfreeze and then parts stay behind somewhere. So either that was a duplicate part or that was from something else. So our steering is functioning now. I have the steering angle. We could make it a bit more aggressive. So I have it dialed down a little bit. Let's see, where is our steering degrees? We have it torque, maximum RPM, and I think I have it at 90. I think we can go to like 115. That'll give us a little bit more steering angle. So now, yeah, now we have a little bit more steering angle, and that should help out. We can actually probably even do more. Probably make it into like a drift vehicle or something if we go up to, let's say, let's do 130. It's 135. That is extreme. So 135. Oh wow, look at that. Okay, so pretty serious on the steering angle, but I can't even go more, I would think. But anyway, all right, so we're good there. We have that going, and the suspension in the back is looking pretty good. We can kind of get an idea of how everything is reacting. We just don't have a drivetrain. So yeah, the front end is, wow, that's actually doing really good. Kind of surprised. Look at that. So let's see, can I pull it? Can I pull this? If, yeah, so if we pull it, yeah, so we can kind of pull it. And I feel like maybe, I don't know why it's rocking like that. We might have one of our tires locked for some reason. So I may need to check if these axles are actually allowing full freedom of movement here. Are they set to, oh shoot, let's get you up there. And let's look real quick. It just takes one, that's rotating. Oh, there we go. That's why. So that needs to be set to rotating, and same thing with that one. I think these are all good now. Yeah. All right. So that's what it was. So now we can do that and go back to our selection tool. Now it's rolling the way that I thought, so we can kind of zoom it and drive it. So there we go. We just have a fancy go-kart now. We can start our motor. We need to figure out the issue with the motor. So, oh my god, something is happening. Yeah, so we need to figure out what is happening with the motor. Maybe it's the counterweight. Something is happening. All right, well, we'll figure that out. But anyway, so let's go out of here and stop. Someone said you can make a brake for the motor, but I have not figured out how to do that or seen where there is any type of brake. So I don't know. All right, so let me do this. Let me go up here, and yeah, all right. So that is basically where we're at right now. I think we're pretty good, and now we just need to figure out the transmission and the rest of the car. But right now we have a good rolling chassis, and like I said, I'm probably going to lengthen it and add some stuff on the side. Do that in the next episode, or maybe even off camera. Thinking about streaming some of this a little bit maybe. So I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know your thoughts and ideas on this type of setup. You know, if these are the best wheels or good wheels. I want to make like a little road car that has a decent amount of suspension travel, you know, for a road vehicle, and something that drives nice that we can put a body on. Maybe, there's not really body panels in this game, but maybe we can do something interesting with what we have. I'll probably replace my little toilet seat with something a little more appropriate for cars. We'll make a little two-seater and do something like a maybe like a little Shelby Cobra, little CZ6 Shelby Cobra, or something along those lines. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching the episodes and leaving all the comments and feedback, and all the suggestions have been a great help. Really appreciate that a great deal. So you guys let me know more tips and tricks on this kind of stuff, and then we'll get into the engine tuning as well. There's a lot we can do with the throttle body and the what is it, the air ratio stuff and all of those things. So we'll do that later once we kind of get the main car figured out. But anyway, I appreciate it, and I think I'm going to end the episode here. And make sure you guys like and subscribe on the channel and hit the little bell notification. That really helps me out, and appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving me in the game. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.